Hey there friends, welcome back to another Legally Armed America video. I'm of course Paul Glasgow here, the one and only Truth Pimp, dealing you a vulgar display of logic and reason on a daily basis. Today I'm going to throw some numbers at you. I'm going to try to get this video over pretty quick for you guys to go enjoy the rest of your Labor Day. Don't want to take a bunch of your time up on a Sunday, again leading into that Labor Day weekend. I actually am going to throw a bunch of baby back ribs on the grill here shortly. I also wanted to take a quick moment to show my respects to Sam Paredes, who is the Gun Owners of California, let's just say cornerstone of that movement that started out in California and obviously evolved into Gun Owners of America. He passed away this past week, and some of our good friends are over there representing us right now. Jared from Guns and Gadgets, Anthony, Armed Scholar, or at the funeral where Sam will be laid to rest today. I just wanted to point out real quick that Sam was a stalwart in this community, the firearms community and the activism community. And the first time I met him, which was several years ago in Uvalde, Texas, the very first time I ever shook the man's hand and met him, he presented me with his own, and I know you're not going to be able to see that, I apologize, challenge coin from Gun Owners of California. And that was the first thing I ever received from Sam when I met him. And he was just mentioned that he was grateful for my position on the Second Amendment and the support of the Second Amendment and the support of Gun Owners of America. And since then, he's just been, you know, so kind to me. One of those kind of people that if you ever need anything, you could call him. Just a very, very good person. And I know the activism community will be fine without him, but it will certainly miss him. And there will be a certain part of the community that I think a lot of us will think is missing with Sam being gone. So I just wanted to tip my hat to him and give my prayers to his family as they lay him to rest today. I want to talk to you about firearms numbers. I want to talk to you about lies that the media is spreading. We talk about this a lot, and one of the things that I definitely would like to consider people out there use these videos like this for is that you use them to dispel the myths and the lies that you see in the media. I'm going to play you a clip from MSNBC. I know I had to go digging for it because nobody watches MSNBC anymore. But I have my reason for subjecting you to this type of torture. Take a look at the clip.
Despite the numbers that you've pointed out, and you pointed out them a little bit earlier, the majority of Americans don't own guns. And the majority of Americans want stricter gun laws.
Right. Right. I mean, I guess it's a matter of what gets prioritized at the polls, which is to say, I mean, I suppose people think that other things are more important, and that's what they vote on first. But I do think that there's honestly, a lack of knowledge among lawmakers. I mean, I think like the same playbook has been enforced since background checks were first introduced in the 90s and the assault weapons ban. And we kind of always go back to those things instead of thinking of new ideas, and also being honest that, like, for example, the Bipartisan Safer Communities Act, which we were talking about earlier, if I'm going to be totally frank and honest, was a pretty worthless bill. Nobody wants to.
We had Chris Brady on.
Right.
Murphy. I'm sorry, Chris Brown on from Brady, who was arguing that that was actually a very big deal.
No, it was a feel-good bill. It is valuable on the margins, and I'm not saying we shouldn't talk about red flag laws, which allow, you know, a person to petition a court to have guns taken from their loved one temporarily. But that's like such an abdication of responsibility. That, again, puts the issue back on regular people to police their loved ones, which isn't really appropriate. I mean, I think it's either like you have to be honest and say what will actually work, which is what nobody wants to hear, which is that there are just simply way too many firearms and they're way too accessible. And even if
they're too powerful?
And they're too powerful. Even handguns, too. Again, that's why in Australia, it doesn't matter if it's not politically acceptable to say it. I'm not here as a politician or anyone who works in politics. I'm a journalist. Whether or not you like it, the only thing that really works, if you really wanted to bring down gun violence, was to do what Australia did.
So this chick that's heading the panel said that the majority of Americans don't own firearms and the majority of Americans don't support firearms, right? Factually and statistically, she might be true, but she's purposely twisting the numbers and lying and omitting information so that you can believe her numbers. The reason why is because, yes, statistically, the majority of Americans don't own firearms. That doesn't mean that they support gun control. There's no direct correlation on that. But there are probably 24 newborns who were born last night at the hospital right down the road from me. None of them own guns. Do you see my point? She's including individuals who either can't or don't want to own guns at their ripe age of 4 hours old. She's including all that. She's including 330 million Americans. Well, of course they don't all own guns. And of course it's probably not the majority. The majority of Americans don't own cars. It doesn't mean that people don't like or don't want cars. They simply don't own them. So she's admitting that in a way to make you think, well, if they don't own guns, they must not support guns. That's not true. Out of all the people like you and like me who do own firearms, there's other people living in our homes who don't. But they fully support my right to and my right to defend my family. My son doesn't own any guns. My son has special needs. And my wife, who fully supports firearms, grew up in a house full of firearms. Her father-in-law, or my father-in-law, her dad, actually hunted his whole life, reloaded his own shotgun shells, quail hunted, pheasant hunted. She grew up around guns. She fully supports our right to own guns, carry guns, possess guns, and protect ourselves and our families. My wife is just as staunch a Second Amendment supporter and conservative as I am. She just doesn't own any guns. The fact that she doesn't own guns doesn't mean she's anti-gun. It doesn't mean that she agrees with these idiots on MSNBC either. Let's start with the math, something that apparently the anti-gun crowd hates more than a good bath. There are over 500 million privately owned guns in America, and almost 107 million responsible adults own them. That's right, 32% of U.S. grown-ups wisely exercise their Second Amendment rights. But let's look at household ownership. Roughly 43% to 52% of households own firearms. That translates to between 53 and 66 million homes reporting to have at least one gun in the home. Also, 52% of adult Americans believe that gun ownership does more to increase safety than to decrease it. Another interesting fact that I ran across was that 47% of non-gun owners could imagine themselves owning a gun in the future. So that statistic alone dispels the myth that this woman is trying to create by saying that just because someone does not own a gun, that they must be anti-gun. That's not true. They still fully support our rights to have guns. They just choose not to in their particular case. And let's face it, in some cases they may not be able to afford them. You want to know some other interesting information that a lot of these people never want to talk about, but it's in your face, it's absolutely true. The biggest demographics of people who are purchasing firearms in the last several years are minorities, women, and first-time gun owners. That's a lot of Democrats. That is a lot of Democrats. There is a huge groundswell of support for the Second Amendment, maybe not openly, but certainly as it takes place, of people center to left who are purchasing firearms and recognize that right. Now, they're going to get shamed on their little Facebook circles and groups and stuff like that if they say, look what I bought today. So they are quietly supporting the Second Amendment, but they won't talk about it because they know their friends who are rabidly anti-gun are going to shame them. So I think there's a big movement. Obviously, the numbers bear out with the minorities and the women firearms owners. I mean, let's face it, a lot of these people live in Democrat-run cities. It ain't safe there. I mean, I do believe some of them probably had an epiphany one day and they're like, oh, anti-gun, let's wear orange today. And then they realize it's not safe for me to walk home. I need a gun. This place is not safe. That place is run by Democrats. Despite the media's attempt to bag on liberty and attempt to ration out our freedom as if it's theirs to loan or take back if they want to, the American people are not buying it. 51% still say gun rights matter more to them than any restrictions. And those numbers have not budged for years, in spite of all the activism by the billionaires like Bloomberg, all the Hollywood actors that try to lecture us, all the rock stars that tell us that we're bad people because we own guns, all the White House crap that you dealt with for the last 4 years talking about how you should be ashamed of yourself for owning a gun. People just aren't buying that. The amount of effort that's put into trying to shame you for being a gun owner, it's not bearing the results that they're expecting to get. So they try harder and harder. So when you see these efforts ramp up to shame you as a gun owner, it's mainly because the last shaming effort simply didn't work. We got to try harder. That's how stupid these people are. I mean, it's a way of life for them. They make a lot of money trying to instill that fear. I talk about it in several chapters in my new book. So this is just an effort by them to make money. If that fear of firearms goes away, all their money goes away. Last thing I want to talk about that you never hear them talk about is the very fact that thousands and thousands and thousands of firearm owners use firearms to stop, prevent, thwart crimes every single day. Very few of these cases are recorded through police reports. In fact, I pulled up a few numbers here a second ago. Let me read them off to you. A grandmother with a 9mm holding off 2 thugs until police arrive. That happened recently. A woman with an AR-15 stopping a would-be murderer and protecting her kids. Again, with her AR-15. Assault weapon. Oh, really? Women are choosing AR-15s now. Nice. I like that one. An armed patron at a Waffle House defending everyone when robbers crash in. No shots were fired. To be clear, guys, the tidal wave of gun ownership is not slowing at all. And these people can continue to try to put out this rhetoric all they want. What I'm going to do is continue to try to provide you with information, with numbers, with statistics. Things that you can combat those myths and lies with. We got to remember, these people are saying the quiet part out loud now. And they think they're the ones falling on a sword for doing so. But make no mistake, they're very clear about what they want to do. And that thing is to disarm you and everybody else in this country. Don't forget, guys, if you're looking for a book to educate yourself and to educate the idiots out there who can't think for themselves regarding mass shootings, go to damnliars.net. Again, damnliars.net, and get my brand new book, Damn Liars.
I'm sorry, I thought this was America.
It's hanging